So if you've watched this channel for a little while, you know that I've transitioned the content from tobacco stuff, unfortunately, YouTube hates all of that, into something I'm really passionate about, which is changing myself, trying to make myself better for my family. I've looked back at the way that I was, and I have looked at 11 things that I'm hot right now. Now looking back, I realize, oh, dang, yeah, that was something I used to do. By the way, number 10 is something that I know sounds stupid, but I will bet you do it. And number 11, I think may come as a little bit of a surprise. It did for me, but it is something that I for sure have done, still do once in a while, and again, don't even notice that I do it. All right, let's do this. Number 1, apologizing way too much. I do this way too often. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. So sorry. I do this like in the store, if I come around the corner with a card. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And I also do it in emails, saying things like, oh, I apologize. Oh, apologies. I didn't. Oh, sorry. I mean, it comes from a place, I think, of trying to be nice. I will always apologize for mistakes and things. But it just feels like you don't have any confidence in what you believe, and you're not grounded in anything. It just feels weak, in my opinion. Number 2 is filtering the words that we use. Our world, of course, reeks of political correctness. Don't say that word. That word is unusable now. You feel like in certain groups of people, you have to be very conscious, very aware of the words you're using. That could be a triggering word. What's trigger? It's trigger. It's not treasure. It's okay? This is a note for myself. There's also, in our culture, maybe you wouldn't agree, but there's certain people that are part of certain groups that you cannot say anything offensive to. If you even get close to looking at them in a way that they deem offensive, it's on. In the world we live in with BLM and trans communities and the LGBTQ plus LMNOPQ RST, for me, I own my own business. I work with companies in the Bay Area in California where it's about as careful with your language as it gets. And I always think, dang, if they watch this, would they be like, we can't work with that guy. He doesn't use the right words. Anyways, let's continue. This next one is, does this really fit? Yeah, it fits. It's men dressing like 8-year-olds. One of the distinctions, I know this one isn't it's not that important in a sense, but it also, I think, kind of is you look at men today versus how men dressed not long ago at all. 1950s, even the 60s, late 60s is when that kind of declined and men started dressing like, children. I mean, that trend today, you look at guys today, I think what you choose to wear is a reflection of the work and the effort you put into yourself. That's the only thing, I think, as you try to pursue being a better man, we're still all children. I mean, I'm trying to elevate the way I dress a little bit. Obviously not today. I'm wearing a t-shirt and tapered pants. I think there's something there. It's something I'm at least becoming more aware of. And as I look at other dads, other guys, I realize I dress exactly like them. Anyways, just thought I'd throw that one in there. I needed 11, so. All right, next one. This one I think is pretty important. It's men not saying what they should when they should. Basically, men not standing up for their ideals, their values, their convictions. I guarantee you, if you're watching this video, you have conversations with friends, with your spouse, with people who are really close to you that you would never have in public. You believe in things that a lot of people don't know you believe in. I know there's situations that I've been in where I think I should have said something. I should have stood up. I kind of fell into my old ways of just just let it go. It's okay. But in reality, there's a lot that's happening right now that I don't think is okay, and you probably don't think is okay. And I think we've come to a point, at least for me, definitely far time when men need to stand up. And one of the ways we can do that is speaking up when it's deemed appropriate, which is probably more often than we speak up in reality. Another one that has to do with our words, and this one is extremely important, especially for our spouses and our kids, and that is not owning up, not staying truthful to our word. That is something that comes down to your core character. It is like surface level core character. I know a guy, he's one of the most respected people that I know. I respect him the most, out of almost anybody I've ever met. And the main reason I respect him more than anybody else is because he is the most true to his word person I've ever met. If he tells you something, even something small, he will do it. And if he can't do it, you know that there's a reason he can't, and he will own up to it and he'll let you know what happened. I want to be that way, but it's difficult. And when you start to really realize how many little fibs is the right word, not fubs, maybe a fub. What is a fub? Quit fubbing around. For myself, I can do so much better in this area. I hate being the person where if I tell somebody something, I'm mainly talking about my wife. That's where it really comes. Are you super trustworthy? Like, does your spouse know if you tell them you're going to do something, like, oh, it'll be done? That's the kind of person I want to be. Extremely trustworthy, especially with the people who I'm closest with. And I can tell you personally, transparently, I am absolutely not that way. I am in the boat of like, I tell my wife something, oh, I'll do it. It's kind of a eye roll, kind of like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. Will you do it this time? Will you, I want to have the kind of character that everybody, especially my wife, knows that if I say I'm going to do something, I will do it. And if I didn't do it, there's a real reason that I couldn't do it. I did try. I did pursue it, and I'll let her, being true to your word. We are more than halfway there. Not bettering ourselves. I lived most of my adult life in this way, and it slowly declined over the years where I took less and less care of myself. That has so many issues from just simply not valuing your life, which kind of means you don't value your kid's life or your wife's life. I know that's kind of maybe a far stretch, but the world that you exist in, the world that I'm assuming you love with your wife and your kids, exist only because you're alive. And if your life ceases to exist, that all goes away. And so we should be continually bettering ourselves as fathers, as husbands, as men in general in our communities, especially if you want to see something change. More than anything, I think our country needs men to stand up and to lead. You're not going to lead anybody if you can't lead yourself first and better yourself. Self-improvement, self-discipline is something I'm working on a lot right now. And the more I work on it, the more I learn about it, the more I realize how I haven't done that at all. I have not tried to better myself continually. It should be a lifelong pursuit of bettering yourself because for me, in my opinion, my wife and kids deserve the best of me, the best I can give them. Kind of connected to this is eating like we don't value ourselves. I guess it is pretty dang connected. I, again, from past experience and current experience to some degree, I've gotten a lot better at this, but I used to eat like I was trying to kill myself. I would eat like I didn't care about my life. And in turn, I kept getting fatter to the point of where I had this big old belly and I was just like mopey dopey, kind of slow, couldn't do as much. The way I was eating affected not just me physically, but my mind as well. Was not as sharp, wasn't as crisp. I couldn't remember things as well. It was embarrassing. I ate so bad. If you're going to start bettering yourself, that includes the food you're eating, which I know can be extremely difficult from experience, but it is such an integral part of that. Anyways, let's move on. Following rather than leading. In my lifespan, there's never been a time where men needed to stand up more and needed to lead. And that starts with yourself, for sure. Disciplining yourself, leading yourself to improve. You can then lead your family more effectively or lead, period. And then eventually, hopefully, that community of people that you can lead grows to your community, your local community. And who knows where it can go from there, but it starts with you standing up and leading yourself. Does that make sense? Like right now, you're sort of in autopilot where you're just eating whatever you want and drinking whatever you want and doing whatever you want, being lazy and getting fatter. Maybe not you, but I know you in the back there. I can see all of you, by the way, and you're hiding out and you're embarrassed and you're wearing oversized clothes to try to hide it. Anyway, it's not just health related. It's not just food and fat. It's everything. It's just not standing up, not leading, not taking charge when the world needs it desperately. Number 9 is not taking ownership of where you're at. Not taking ownership of why you're fat, why you're out of shape, why you haven't made the kind of money you want to make. Maybe you're still broke. Maybe the relationship with your wife or your kids is not the way it should be, or your grandkids. It's your fault. And taking ownership of that is an integral step. It's probably the foundational step you have to take, is taking ownership of where you're at in life. It's no one else's fault but yours. It's not the way you were raised. It's not your parents. It's not the difficulty you faced. It's your fault. Taking ownership of that is integral. Read Extreme Ownership. Make yourself better. Okay, the last 2 that I think I do all the time, still, I've tried to get better at it, and it's subtle, but I think it makes a difference. Number 10 is mumbling. I've kind of touched on this a little bit with some of the other ones, but this is something that I've noticed in myself and noticed other men doing is they don't speak with confidence because they probably don't really have anything to say, or they're not confident in what they're saying. So they just kind of mumble and just kind of like trail off and just kind of, you're like, wait, what? I think if you have something to say, and you probably do, you have convictions and beliefs and thoughts, share them confidently with somebody. Whether that's a one-on-one conversation with somebody you know or something else, people in the store or whatever, if you're going to say something, even greeting somebody in the store, I think say it confidently. Say it like, like you mean it, like you know what you're saying and you can stand behind your words. This has to do with your character. This goes into all of this stuff, really. But, if you're ever going to stand up and actually lead, it starts with just everyday conversations. And I think speaking up, speaking confidently is a big part of that. I used to trail off and just kind of mumble and just kind of go away. And it was just like, no one's going to listen to you at that point. Obviously, you don't believe in what you're saying. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Anyways, that's number 10. Let's get to the last one. Let me know. What do you think of this? Also, I'd love to know what you think of all of these. Did I miss some? Are there some that I should have added to the list? Are there some that I added that were stupid? Let me know in the comments. I'd be very curious. Number 11 is watching this video. Actually, watching this video is a good thing. It means that you're trying to improve yourself. I mean, I still watch a ton of videos from people who are smarter than me. I'm not one of them. You should probably go watch them. I don't have any confidence. I think part of the problem for myself is that I tend to get into a mode where I watch a lot of videos and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I agree with that. Or read books or listen to audio. I was going to say audio cassettes. Can you believe that? Whatever. I tend to intake a lot of information, but I don't do anything with it. I'll just sit there and keep watching videos, keep posting other people's work online that I agree with, rather than doing anything productive, rather than going out and actually trying to make a difference toward the convictions, towards the belief systems I have. And yours might be a little bit different than mine, but if you truly believe those things, part of being a man and leading is standing up and actually doing something with those, not just taking it in, not just watching another video and like, yep, that's right. Like, shut it off and do something. That's what I say. Do you agree? What do you think of my list? Like I said, I'd love to know yours. I'm not quite done. I know you're getting ready to click the next video, watch another one. But I would love, real quick, can I give you my sales pitch? It'll take a short amount of time. I'm trying to grow this channel as much as I can, but I can only do so much. The rest of it comes down to you fine folks. 2 things you could do. One is all the YouTube-y stuff. Like, subscribe, comment on this video, share it is extremely helpful. But the other thing is if you can go to the next level, if you're interested, like, what else can I do? I could use your money. There's a couple of ways to do that. I'm offering a membership part of this YouTube channel. I have some content coming out that's gonna be for members only, or I have a Patreon link in this video. I'm trying to do a lot of things with this channel as a base, but to get there, I need to give it more of my time, and to give it more of my time, I need to eventually start bringing money through this channel, and so that you can support what I'm trying to do, but you probably don't know I haven't explained what I'm trying to do well enough for you to do that, maybe. But if you like what I'm doing so far with this content, support in one of those ways, won't you? I would appreciate it. That's probably it. You can watch another video now, or put the phone down and go do something productive. What are you eating right now? What did you eat today? Anyways, just trying to make you feel bad about yourself. Thanks for watching.